Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector video. Don't you just hate when you're going to do a review on a game and then you have to reset Windows? Yep, that's exactly what happened to me, and hey, these things do happen. The great thing is my script was actually on paper, so that works perfectly fine, but a lot of the footage you'll see is from early campaign. But with all that being said, I've been able to play Warhammer Battlesector for quite some time now. In fact, our friends from Southern Games gave me access on multiple occasions to be able to test out various builds. A lot of that has featured on the channel, and now it's time to review the game, as of course Warhammer Battlesector releases on the 22nd of July, just a few short days now, and I want to give my thoughts and impressions regarding what I've felt, played with, and all that, so you can make a decision through this video hopefully to see if you want to purchase it for yourself. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time and jump right in. Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector is a turn-based strategy game based on, of course, the 41st millennium of the Games Workshop franchise, Warhammer 40,000. Set in the aftermath of the devastation of Baal, a brutal and bloody war, you now control the Blood Angels, both Firstborn and Primaris, against hordes of rampaging Tyranids. This setting is actually quite popular within the fans of 40k, so it's nice to see such a very big battle, well, the aftermath of it at the very least, being represented in a game. And just because this is set in the aftermath of the devastation doesn't mean there's a lot going on. In fact, this game is quite heavy. Even on normal and easy difficulties, I did find this game to be quite intense. I was playing the majority of my time on Astartes mode, which is that of normal, and I must say that I did sweat a few times, but we'll talk about this in just a little bit. Now, we'll talk about the campaign and everything else in just a bit, but let's focus right now on gameplay. What you're seeing on screen right now is a very early mission into the campaign, where my Blood Angels are trying to secure a bunker. With this, I'm moving up my forces quite quickly. As you can see, it's not a typical turn-based game. I'm actually able to set my orders on a unit, have them move, but also do that with multiple units. They will move at the same time, if you're quick enough with your mouse of course, and they will fire at the same time too. This means that the game itself is incredibly fast-paced. The missions do last a decent amount of time, and we will be talking about that more later on in the video, but it's more the fact that your forces will move quick. You can issue loads of orders really quick. It's not a 1 hour match where, say for example, you're just issuing orders and waiting for your characters to move with some forced cinematic. Your enemies will, however, move one by one as far as I've seen, but that's more or less to keep you engaged. If they're within the fog of war, of course you're going to be able to want to see where they're going. It's very much like having some sort of long distance scanner in a sense. Well, not that long, because there is a limited amount of field of view. A massive perk about this game too is something you would have noticed earlier on in the video, where I can move, then shoot, and then move again. You're not stuck with one command, done. There are a lot of turn-based shooters which will have you fire and then you won't be able to move, as you will have to move first and then fire. So it's great that you're not stuck with this. You can work around and use your unit strengths to you. Planning ahead is of course very needed, but that's more in-game than anything else. The game itself has a fairly large roster of stuff that you can use, not only because the campaign itself is fairly large, and we'll get into quite a lot of detail regarding that soon, but also because you can play in multiplayer competitive mode, so you can either decide to play as Blood Angels or Tyranids at the moment. I'm only going to show off the Blood Angels, as we will have dedicated faction videos hopefully soon, but how it works with this is as you progress through your campaign, you'll be able to unlock more units. Early on, you'll only have some Assault Marines, some Intercessors, and so on, but eventually you'll start to unlock Dreadnoughts, Baal Predators, and so much more. If you are familiar with how the Blood Angels work in Warhammer 40,000 tabletop, then think about it that way. You have access to a lot of different stuff, again, both Firstborn and Primaris, and it's very much set, of course, on the 9th edition setting. Different weaponry and so on might not seem like it's needed, but believe me, it actually does affect on how you play, especially on campaign. The different weaponry is obviously better for doing damage in certain different ways, so I'm not going to be using Intercessors all the time. It's not like the beginning of 9th edition where you could just spam Intercessors and basically win, especially if you were playing a killy faction like the Imperial Fists. Here you're playing as the Blood Angels. You have a mixture of range, very powerful range at that, but also very devastatingly brutal melee attack, not only with standard Assault Marines, but also with Death Company, and yes, you can get Death Company. For a turn-based game, you can see a lot of detail when it comes to these units. They look absolutely fantastic. Even when I'm just hitting a few angles here and there, you can see there's so much detail. Bear in mind that this is a game that you're mostly playing top-down. You're going to be very rarely actually getting up close and personal. Of course, that could just be how I play. I just like to have a proper view of all the map. Yet the level of detail goes very well, and the Space Marines themselves, the really good thing aesthetically, and this is something I really like, is the fact that they're not pristine. Even the intercessors, which have only recently joined the ranks of the Blood Angels, have some battle wear. It's fantastic because this is obviously what we do on the tabletop yourself. If you're a tabletop player, you're going to look at this and think, oh wow, this is actually really good, and that's actually what got my eye. The fact that all these units act so differently on the battlefield too is just a massive plus. You're incentivized to change up your loadout. The campaign itself is quite linear. It follows a mission-to-mission basis, and while that might not sound too interesting, keep in mind here that what you're actually doing is experiencing a very thematic story. The mission-by-mission basis immerses you with what the Blood Angels are trying to do, who is helping out the Blood Angels, and so on and so forth. You actually get a lot of the immersion from this menu screen, and then of course from the voice acting, which I'll show a few clips as an example.
Time flows in contradictions since the invasion. There's an unexpected slowness in the aftermath of an impossible victory. A languid sweetness of air, tasted by the hapless victor. And yet, I also feel the turning of change, and the accumulated minutiae that falls to the survivors. Corpses to be burned, fortifications to be rebuilt, neophytes to be blooded. Regardless of our losses, we are the angels of death, and we are always prepared for war. Not that these are concerns for the fledgling Primaris right now. Balfora is an unforgiving tutor. Dante says that you are blood angels. Prove it! Show me that the blood of the great angel flows within your veins.
We fight and we die for the Imperium.
The footage you just saw was from the loading of the first mission and of course in game 2, and what you can see is the voice acting is actually really good. You have to keep in mind that a lot of Warhammer 40k games, or just Warhammer in general, yeah, it's usually very cheesy voice acting. Voice acting and sound design is absolutely fantastic. The background music itself is very atmospheric and fits with the theme of the Blood Angels. I know this might not be very helpful when it comes to people who don't know the 40k universe, but trust me, it works. The background music is not very intrusive and it allows you to feel the game properly. You'll still hear loads of gunfire, you'll still hear the voice acting, it's not overbearing whatsoever. In regards to the voice acting, once again, it's done very well, and it's not just with these units, it's with everything. Your troops will say stuff as you select them and send them on orders. Your enemies will screech, as of course they're Tyranids, they don't speak. It's just very immersive, really. Missions themselves will vary drastically. It won't be the same landscape and it won't be the same loadout. You will get loads of different visuals when it comes to this game, so nothing will get too boring. A lot of the early showcases were centered around the first few missions, which is why everything very much looked the same. In regards of loadout, you can see here I've actually got a very large army. This is a few missions in where I've been able to increase my point capacity and of course get different units. You can see them on screen. This is by far not my best loadout, I must admit, as I was experimenting with loads of different options, trying to see what worked and so on, as I was playing around and just having a little bit of fun. If you can't experiment around, especially with a game set in Warhammer, you know, then there's really no point. And you do get a lot of experimentation, especially with all the different unit options. You can even switch around their equipment if you so wish. What I did realize, especially on this mission, is that the AI is relatively intelligent. It comes at a point where you're moving around, especially with here where there's a bottleneck, a very obvious one, which I wanted to force through my units there just by pure brute force. That kind of worked against me, as the Tyranids actively moved around and tried to surround me, which can be a bit of an issue as, of course, you don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of bugs cutting you off in different locations where you won't be able to support yourself with other fire. I must admit that here is where one of the issues of the game does present itself. It's very, very punishing, and I don't mean that in a, oh, this game is too hard sort of sense. While the game indeed is not easy, and that is actually a good thing, it's the fact that if you end up losing, that's pretty much campaign over unless you've been saving often. If you can't go back to a save, then you've pretty much lost your progress, so you're gonna have to save right before you start every mission, and believe me, it's gonna be needed. Some of these missions themselves can last 30 minutes, 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour. I'm not complaining about the mission length, however, as it's actually quite long. It gives you the feel that you're fighting a aftermath of a brutal war, and you're trying to get rid of the remnants before anything else happens, which can happen in this universe as it's pretty much war on a constant basis. But yeah, if you intend to buy this game, save often, as believe me, I've made that mistake before, where I didn't save for around 2-3 missions, and I found myself having to reroll back there. I wish it wasn't that bad, because it does cause a few issues. It's nothing too game-breaking, but it just makes sure that you have to keep saving. Another issue I do have with this game is it's not very clear as to how you get these bonus objectives. I'm not too sure if I'm missing something, but I've been looking around and have not been able to find it. The thing is that these bonus objectives are actually really important. Those objective tokens will affect your gameplay as you progress through your campaign. While it won't be centered around how many units you can have in game, it will be centered around something far more important. Your available units you'll unlock naturally as you progress through your campaign, the same as the point value, as the point values are determined by how much you can field in a game. Each unit is worth a certain amount of points and so on, but those markers that you saw earlier, which you'll get a certain amount per mission, will be used in a upgrade tree. These do vary as you unlock more and more named characters. Each of the characters themselves will have their own dedicated trees, and through here you can get buffs for certain units, change out their loadouts, even give them special abilities all for said character too. I would say that being able to use this tree is actually very important, as you won't be able to progress as easily or well as all if you don't start buffing up your troops and get them better equipment. The perfect example would be that for an intercessor, the standard intercessor has a bolt rifle. The bolt rifle is pretty decent to do damage all around, but if you want to do damage against hordes of units, you're going to need auto bolt rifles, as they're specially designed to do a lot of damage by means of spray and pray firepower. Obviously, being able to get more bonus objectives will be very, very useful, and it's just a bit better if it was a bit more clear on how to be able to do so. Other than that, the trees themselves works well. The HQ upgrades is a very awesome system, which allows you to choose and play around with your playstyle. Now, I've been ranting about for around 10 minutes or so what do I really think about this game? Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector might be one of the best Warhammer video games released in recent times. Yes, it is a turn-based strategy game, and a lot of people are kinda sick of that genre at the moment. However, since the game is so fast-paced, it actually is very engaging. The fact is that it has a lot of lore too, which is great not only for newcomers, but people who are already invested in it too. As we all know, there's a lot of lore when it comes to Warhammer, 40k especially, so when it comes to a newcomer, they might get overwhelmed and be turned off because of that, but I feel that this game introduces it very, very well. The gameplay aspect is of course very fantastic. Fast-paced turn-based is actually really, really good, especially as there was pretty much little to no downtime throughout my turns, so that was actually nice. You'd be able to play a full match in 30 to 45 minutes and not feel like you spent all that time waiting. That is of course a common thing when it comes to turn-based games, that it becomes so daunting you don't want to even play that genre anymore. The fact that the game allows for flexibility too for your loadouts is great. You're able to enjoy yourself and play to your playstyle. I know a lot of people who play the Blood Angels in a very shooty way. I personally own a decent army on the tabletop and I play very melee focused. A healthy mixture is always really good when it comes to this game, though you can play around, just make sure to save often as I said, or else you're going to have to go back for a few missions. The AI is intelligent, which is a massive plus. You're going to be feeling surrounded, they're going to be coming at you at all sides. This is really important, especially when it comes to a Tyranid force in this game. this is a swarm and you're feeling like you're facing against a swarm. The fact is that they will keep throwing numbers at you and you will feel overwhelmed in certain points. You'll need to use tactics other than your loadouts, special abilities, be able to fight them at every possible circumstance, and I feel that this game does it so well. The story is engaging and it really makes you want more from these developers. In fact, I do hope that they will make DLC for the future. It would be absolutely fantastic if they did DLCs revolving around different races and factions, so it's not all centered around the devastation of Baal. In fact, you can get some Adeptus Sororitas, the Sisters of Battle, in this game too throughout your campaign, so it would be kind of nice if they gave us a Sisters of Battle campaign in the future. While most of these games are usually a one-shot go, this has a lot of potential. They can, if they do sell enough copies, I'm imagining, put more time and money in extra content, which I think people will receive very well if the DLC in the future, if they ever do it, ends up as good as this base game. I'm getting ahead of myself, that's true, and it's only because I'm actually quite exciting. It's becoming rarer and rarer that I sit down with a game and enjoy a campaign to the point that I'm playing for hours on end. This is a great game, and even the fact that I had to re-record stuff since I had lost a lot of footage, I was having a lot of fun, especially since the second playthrough was me just experimenting. It was me trying out full intercessor squads, or going full assault squads, which, by the way, doesn't actually work too bad. They do a lot of damage, and if you can plan out where you're going to jump and surround, you could actually take out some big beasties. Before we end this video, I'll leave you with the intro cinematic, which you get after completing the first baseline mission, as if you're not used to the Warhammer 40,000 universe, especially with the story revolving around the Blood Angels and so on, I think that this does it so well. Like, the cinematic is so good just to introduce people to the setting. So let's not waste any more time, jump right into that and see the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed this review and you've made more or less a decision regarding whether you wish to purchase Battlesector or not. I should hopefully have some more videos coming out in a future date revolving around this game, and hopefully if I can get some time, a live stream or two would be fun, because I'm actually really enjoying it, and let's be honest, we've been pretty starved with the lack of Warhammer 40,000 games as of late.
In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. People are born, they live, they suffer, and die. Rarely of natural causes. Days prior to the fall of Cadia, Dante faced his greatest challenge. High Fleet Leviathan had broken through the Krypton shield, and the Tyranids bore directly for the sacred homeworld of the Blood Angels, Baal. Sons of Sanguinius rallied from the far corners of the galaxy. Complete strangers died side by side as brothers. Yet even this unprecedented congregation could not hold back the Great Devourer. In their darkest moment, the Blood Angels gathered around Lord Commander Dante, a last stand. They gave themselves to the Red Thirst and stood in defiance of the alien, not for survival, for the chapter was doomed, but for the honor of their sire, the great Angel Sanguinius. And then, pandemonium, the Cicatrix Maledictum opened and tore the galaxy in two. Time stretched, contorted. Demons of Khorne poured across the moon of Baal Primus, tearing at Xenos and Marines alike. Havoc reigned. But just as quickly as it appeared, the Cicatrix Maledictum contracted. It took with it both the demons and vast swathes of High Fleet Leviathan. In their place, the Indomitus Crusade appeared, helmed by the avenging sun himself, Primarch Robute Guilliman. The blessed Primarch didn't just bring relief to Baal, he brought with him the Primaris Space Marines, thousands bearing the mark of the Blood Drop. The Primaris were larger, stronger, more resilient than their firstborn brethren. But to the Blood Angels, they represented a different kind of salvation. The promise of these super soldiers was of an improved gene line, more pure and closer to that of Sanguinius. Away from prying ears, Archmagos Call whispered that they showed fewer signs of the flaws that plagued the great angel's blood. No more thirst beating at their hearts. No more armor to be painted black. A semblance of normality has since returned to Baal. The monolithic Indomitus crusade prepares to leave. Commander Dante, now Lord Regent of half of the Imperium, works to heal his chapter and Baal of the trauma suffered at the hands of Leviathan. And on the moon Baal Secundus, Sergeant Carlion hurries to the aid of a sanguinary priest.
But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.